The rising trade tensions between Canada and the United States, exacerbated by President Donald Trump's return to the White House, have sent shockwaves through diplomatic and military circles. With economic disputes spilling into defense policy, Ottawa is rethinking its procurement strategy in an unprecedented move that could reshape its military future. Canada is now reviewing 9 major defense contracts to reduce its reliance on US-supplied military systems, a shift that could redefine the country's global security posture. But what does this mean for Canada's military capabilities, and how will the United States respond? Stick with us as we dive deep into this game-changing development. Leading this strategic reassessment is Canada's multi-billion-dollar agreement to purchase 88 F-35 fighter jets from Lockheed Martin. Despite already allocating funds for the first 16 aircraft, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is now reconsidering the deal due to rising costs and concerns over reliance on US-controlled military technology. Canada is exploring alternatives, with Sweden's SaabGripen emerging as a top contender. The Swedish offer includes domestic assembly and integration into broader European Union defence initiatives, which could provide Canada with greater autonomy while supporting its domestic aerospace industry. Closely linked to the F-35 deal is a proposed $5 billion sole source agreement for the procurement of US-made M142 HIMARS rocket systems. This deal includes rocket launchers, guided munitions, and logistics support. However, Canadian defense officials have openly acknowledged that deteriorating trade relations with the United States could jeopardize this high-value purchase. Any decision to scale back or cancel the F-35 program could have ripple effects across related weapons procurement plans, including a separate $6 billion allocation for advanced weapon systems such as precision-guided bombs and air-to-air missiles. These purchases are inherently tied to the F-35's future, making the situation even more complex. Beyond fighter jets and missile systems, Canada is reassessing its stance on US ballistic missile defense initiatives. Historically, Canada has avoided formal participation in these programs, preferring to focus on joint NORAD responsibilities. However, the 2025 Strategic Outlook report warns that Canada's exclusion from key missile defense frameworks could weaken its influence within NORAD modernization efforts. With growing threats from hypersonic weapons and long-range cruise missiles, Canada must now decide whether to deepen its involvement or seek alternative security partnerships. NORAD modernization remains a critical area of U.S.-Canada defense cooperation, particularly in upgrading early warning radar systems and missile detection capabilities. However, given the current political friction, concerns are growing that projects, such as the proposed Golden Dome integrated missile defense architecture, could face delays or a reduction in scope. These developments raise crucial questions. Could Canada's strategic realignment weaken North America's collective security? And how will Washington react if Ottawa moves toward greater European defense integration? Another major program under scrutiny is the Trilateral Ice Pact, a cooperative effort between the US, Canada, and Finland to co-develop next-generation polar icebreakers. This initiative had previously enjoyed strong bipartisan support, but recent criticism from President Trump regarding Canada's involvement in US Coast Guard procurement has cast doubt over the future of this collaboration. Could Canada be left out of Arctic security projects altogether? Given the increasing geopolitical significance of the Arctic, Ottawa cannot afford to lose its strategic foothold in the region. Canada's defense industry is deeply integrated with that of the United States, with an active $623 million contract with General Dynamics for 155mm artillery shell propellants. This contract, awarded in fiscal year 2024, is proceeding as planned. However, future orders could be in jeopardy if Canada pivots toward European suppliers. A similar situation applies to Indol Technologies, a Canadian firm that holds a $38 million contract with the U.S. Navy to equip American aircraft carriers. Political volatility is making such cross-border collaborations increasingly unpredictable, forcing Canadian defense planners to weigh their options carefully. With tensions mounting, Canada's search for an alternative to the F-35 has brought several European and domestic options into focus. The SaabGripen is a strong contender, offering affordability, versatility, and the promise of domestic assembly, which could generate 6,000 skilled jobs annually over the next 40 years. Additionally, Saab is offering full intellectual property transfer, enabling Canadian firms to independently manage maintenance, upgrades, and future technological advancements. The Gripen E variant features advanced avionics, an upgraded GEF-414G engine, and compatibility with NATO standard weapons, making it well suited to Canada's operational needs. Another European candidate under consideration is the Eurofighter-Typhoon, developed by the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Renowned for its high-performance avionics, the Typhoon is already in service with several NATO allies. However, its history with Canada is complicated. In 2019, Airbus Defence and Space withdrew the aircraft from Canada's fighter competition, citing integration challenges with NORAD and other security frameworks. This history raises questions about whether the Typhoon is a viable option under the current reassessment. France's Dassault Rafale is also being reconsidered. A twin-engine, multi-role fighter with a strong combat record, the Rafale has proven its reliability across various mission types. However, its previous withdrawal from Canada's fighter competition in 2018 was reportedly linked to concerns about interoperability with Allied systems and access to sensitive data. Given Canada's deep integration into Western intelligence sharing frameworks like Five Eyes and NORAD, these issues remain significant hurdles. The Boeing F divided by a -18E divided by F Super Hornet is another option. As a direct descendant of Canada's current CF-18 fleet, the Super Hornet offers an easier transition in terms of pilot training, maintenance, and infrastructure compatibility. However, the Super Hornet was excluded from Canada's Future Fighter Capability project in 2021 due to operational shortcomings. Could political or budgetary constraints bring it back into contention? This remains an open question. In a surprising development, the United Kingdom has extended an invitation to Canada to join the Global Combat Air Programme, GCAP, a trilateral initiative between the UK, Japan, and Italy to develop a sixth-generation fighter aircraft. GCAP aims to integrate cutting-edge technologies, including artificial intelligence, directed energy weapons, and manned-unmanned teaming capabilities. With demonstrator aircraft expected by 2027 and full deployment by 2035, this program presents a potential game-changer for Canada's Air Force. If Canada joins GCAP, it could redefine its strategic partnership with the UK and shift NATO's defense balance away from US dominance. Portugal has also reconsidered its plans to procure Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jets, citing concerns over the reliability of the United States as a defense partner. Portugal's defense minister, Nuno Melo, recently stated that predictable alliances are essential, emphasizing concerns over restrictions on use, maintenance, and component access for US-made aircraft. If more NATO members begin questioning their reliance on American military systems, could we see a broader realignment toward European-led defense initiatives? Canada's evolving defense strategy could set a precedent for other nations looking to diversify their military partnerships. Australia and Japan, both closely watching these developments, may reconsider their own procurement strategies to ensure greater autonomy. Could Canada's pivot to European and Indo-Pacific allies inspire similar moves from other middle powers? If so, what does this mean for NATO's future? A significant aspect of Canada's strategic shift is its growing focus on Arctic defence. Recognizing the region's increasing geopolitical importance, the Canadian government has committed over $6 billion to acquiring an advanced over-the-horizon radar system from Australia. This technology will enhance Canada's ability to detect threats in its northern territories. Additionally, Canada is working with Australia on the Jindalee Operational Radar Network, which will improve Arctic surveillance capabilities. In maritime defense, Canada is pursuing a multi-billion-dollar program to acquire up to 12 conventionally powered, under-ice-capable submarines. While discussions about nuclear-powered options have surfaced, the focus remains on submarines designed specifically for Canada's unique geographic and strategic needs. A German-led proposal within the EU is also under discussion, potentially integrating Canada into European defense programs that would provide access to shared research, procurement opportunities, and joint operational planning. On the domestic front, Canada is investing in northern infrastructure, including new radar and surveillance stations in the Arctic. One such initiative is a partnership between the Iñuviah-Leavitt Development Corporation and ATCO Front to design and operate a new radar defense system in the Northwest Territories. This initiative not only enhances national security, but also integrates Indigenous and regional communities into Canada's broader defense strategy. While Canada remains a committed NATO member, recent tensions with the U.S. signal a growing desire for strategic diversification. As Ottawa redefines its military procurement policies, it raises critical questions. Will this shift strengthen or weaken Canada's defence posture? Could other NATO allies follow suit, challenging US dominance in transatlantic security? And ultimately, how will Washington respond to Canada's growing independence in military affairs? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.